What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave Podcast. Today is episode 231. I'm joined along with, as always, the bearded sultan himself,
Robbie Ross.
How you doing, Rob?
Doing pretty good, man. So
You bearing through it?
barely making it through it. Funny story.
Rob?
Last week I wasn't here. I was on vacation up in the mountains of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear banjo music the whole time?
I did. This one dude with one tooth asked me how I was doing, and I just drove the opposite way.
Did he say you got pretty mouth?
He did, and he was talking about his pigs. And I was just like, no, I've seen this movie. No. Found out, definitely should lock your doors while you're in the mountains. You should lock your doors no matter what.
Yeah.
But after a 8-hour trip, really had to use the bathroom, so my mind wasn't in the mindset of, let's hurry up and lock the door so I can go pee. Well, I go and pee.
Yeah.
And we use our friends' vehicles because they were,
You peed in a friend's vehicle?
Exactly. I didn't even make it to the bathroom.
Wow.
No. Use the
That's
bathroom.
a good friend, because I wouldn't let you pee in my vehicle.
I'd be
like, use the great outdoors. You're out here, man. Pee out in the woods. The outdoor experience starts now.
I used the bathroom in our cabin.
Okay.
And then we used our friends' vehicles because they were 4-door,
all terrain.
Yes, and they did the mountains better. But anyway, so didn't even get into mine or get into Holly's car at all. Mm-hmm. So we go through the day. We wake up the next morning, and my friend Ryan comes down the stairs. She's like, "Did y'all leave your door open last night?" I was like, "No, no, we didn't." So I go outside, and it's snowing. It's about 20.
Is this in the car? Like the car door has been unlocked? Or is it the cabin door?
The car. My car.
Okay.
Holly's car is unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
The door is open.
Yeah.
So I'm walking outside, and like I said, it's snowing. It's about 22, 23 degrees.
Yeah.
And I hear doors open, so I threw on my basketball shorts, flip-flops, and T-shirts because I'm still in Florida mentality.
Yeah.
Rudely awakened when I got out there, but I was already
shriveling going on.
I had to bear on through it.
Yeah.
Well, I get there, and I'm seeing mud on the side of the vehicle, and I see this perfect imprint of a bear print on her seat. A bear opened up the door, got into her car, mud all over the inside of the car. Got everything cleaned out for the most part, but I called the sheriff, and he was like, unfortunately, that's a common occurrence up there. He's like, you just got to make sure you lock your door. I was like, thank you. Thank you for that. Those words of wisdom, officer. But it was just crazy how smart bears are up there. Like they said that the mentality of the black bears up there are just big raccoons. They go through your garbage, they'll whatever. And turns out, they smelled food. There's no food in Holly's car because we brought.
Yeah, but y'all might have eaten in there.
No, our friend Blake in the car next to us. That's my stomach. I'm kind of hungry, but spilt Funyuns in his freaking car, and there was a handprint on his car. They couldn't get in, so they're like, "Oh well, since we can't get in the Funyun car, we'll see what's in this car." So they open our door, and there's obviously
no
food.
Are there talking bears up there?
They are. It's Yogi and Boo Boo.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like Fozzie Bear.
Well, later on, I think it was Saturday, or no, it was probably Monday. Mm-hmm. As we're driving, through the mountains, we saw another black bear. I rolled down my window and gave that bear what I, thought of him. Yeah. His bear.
Where he can go and what he can do when he gets there. Yeah.
They're like, why are you yelling at the bear? I was like, this is payback. This might not be the same bear.
The bear goes to his wife and like,
you know what just happened to me today?
This human, this hairy human, I thought he was a bear himself in a different sense. He yelled at me today, Margaret. He yelled at me. Doug, it will be okay. She reassures him. Like he goes like drinks a bottle of scotch. Like shaking, you've shaken up Doug the bear.
He can't deal with it anymore. But I did have this is how good of friends I have. They're like, "Are you sure you just didn't go out there shirtless one night?" So I have a lot of funny friends. But yeah, every night that same bear came up and like
did you just shoot it?
No,
did you wrestle it?
I wrestled it with my bare hands one night. And as it was
you put on like gloves that are like bare hands.
And never underestimate the power of a pine cone, because I picked that thing up and I hurled it at his face and it just like stuck there and he ran off.
I'm surprised he didn't maul you. Like that would have been a much better story. Like that would have been a good way to end it. Like well, I was mauled by a bear.
I'm still
and like
here.
You're missing like half your face and be like, well, there is the moral of the story is give the Funyuns to the bear and don't try to fight it.
That is true. But yeah. Other than that, it wasn't too bad of a vacation.
It wasn't too bad of a vacation. You didn't have to go to work. That's the moral of the story.
It was still fun. It was very stressful that first morning, but like I said, every night everybody's vehicle had a new paw print, on their vehicle. So he's very adamant. And then one night, Blake's wife, had a little bit too much to drink, so she decides to just open bananas and throw them out into the woods. I'm like, great. I think you're going to
get more bears.
I'm like, this is going to end well. I feel sorry for the next people who have to be at this cabin. They're going to be like looking out. There's going to be 4 bears just looking up at them and everything. But yeah, Tennessee was fun.
I've got a Tennessee song in my head, but I don't know the words to it. So I would just meow. Hey, everybody.
What's up?
Each and every week, we come to you with all the nerdy news that you need to know. You can get it early over on patreon.com/nerdcave. You can watch it live when we record it.
Yeah.
Just like our awesome Patreons do.
That's what we're doing today.
Week. That's what we're doing right now because they're awesome. And you can be awesome too. All you got to do is toss us $1, make Robbie and you get the live version of it each and every week. You can toss us a few more dollars, get the edited version and all that good stuff before anybody else does.
Yeah.
All of that. And you get Let's Plays early and all the goodies that go along with that.
A lot of goodies.
And you get access to our Discord. I've set it up now that you have to be a patron to be on the Discord. So there you go.
That's the way to weed out those troublemakers.
Those heathens. You can get it all on Friday, YouTube version and podcast services around the world. Thanks to all of our Patreon supporters. We do appreciate you. Now into the news, and we've got a ton of it. So hold on to your seats, you kittens.
And your caboodles.
Hellblade is selling above expectation, nearly breaking even for the developer. Hellblade was a strange experimental title in a number of ways. Not only was it something different, but it was an attempt by developer Ninja Theory of Heavenly Sword and DMC Devil May Cry fame to self-publish a title that was larger than most independent projects but smaller in scale than most efforts from major studios. This placed it in a league of B games from a budgetary standpoint that has fallen out of favor in recent years, as most developers opted to get bigger or break apart. Thankfully, the effort seems to be paying off. Speaking with GameBee's chief creative director at Ninja Theory, Tamim, blah blah, I don't know how to say this, guy. Yeah. Said Hellblade has sold above the developer's expectation. I think it almost broke even, or it's about to break even in the next couple of weeks. We weren't expecting to break even for 6 or 8, 9 months on this game. It looks like within 3 months it will have broken even and then some. Ninja Theory plans to release more thorough sales breakdown sometime soon. We want the data out there so developers, if they want to do something similar, they have the data point, hopefully to help encourage them to do more games like this. The title breaking even is a good news because the title was published by the developer itself, the company gets to reap all the benefits. We own the IP this time. It opened up a bunch of doors and possibilities that we just didn't have until this point. In terms of a model, I'd say it's a success. So what this tells me what this tells me is a lot of good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because this says right here, hey, you don't have to get in bed with an Activision. You don't have to get in bed with an EA or Ubisoft. You can make a game and it be successful on your own.
Yeah.
And me and Allie have played some of Hellblade on live stream. It is fantastic. The mocap is great. The story is awesome. Just everything about it is really, really good. And I just love that they're, fixing to start making profit on it, that they've already started breaking even on it. And that's a huge thing because so many developers sell out so they can, keep making their games. Yeah. But if you do well, if you put quality content out there, then that's all. That speaks for itself. Quality content will sell.
And that's the biggest point I'm taking away from this is it has to be quality. Watching y'all's live stream of this game, I think it just introduced something new. It had that super tight camera angle and everything like that, and it had the voices in your head telling you, "Oh, watch out!" Different things like that.
Yeah.
And I think with them about to break even, this game is well beyond what they thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I think Ninja Studios is going to be able to.
Is it Ninja
Theory? Ninja Theory. My bad. Is going to be able to, further this game along and be able to come up with different games that they might not have to go through these big studios to be able to, push their game through. So Ninja Theory, I think a lot of different publishers and things can take a lot away from what they did with Hellblade.
Yeah. Congratulations, everybody, over at Ninja Theory. That is awesome. I am so thankful that there are developers like you.
Yeah.
So thanks for keeping gaming cool and without loot boxes. Speaking of a good game, and speaking, before I get into this article, Paris Games Week, PlayStation said last week it's going to be E3 Part 2.
Was it E3 Part 2?
In some ways. It was kind of like E3 continued, not like Part 2. It was like continued.
Part 2 is still kind of continued.
No, the reason I say that is like they played a little bit of they almost did Xbox at Gamescom where they pretty much played all the same trailers, but they did show some new stuff, but they didn't give me what I was hoping for, and that was dates. And I think they're taking the play out of our playbook of not announcing something unless you're ready to like ship it that day.
Which, I mean, it's smart. That's the way you need to do it. Mm-hmm. But still at the same time.
Like, at least a spring 2018, because like we're already thinking, like God of War is coming out in spring, SpiderMan's coming out in spring. So it's like we already kind of like know where these are going to be like placing and everything, but come on, get off the pot.
You can be vague about it. Like, like you said, it's going to be here in spring or summer or fall or something like that. I mean, because that gives you a ton of time in between the spring, the summer, the fall.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they took a paid,
they're listening to us.
Yeah, they had several where they had to like back off and had to delay games, and that's bad press. But I think we're just like now waiting a lot of stuff. But there was a ton shared at this conference, and we're going to be getting into more and more of it today. I do have to say, PlayStation took Paris Game Week seriously. Their stage looked great. It was just so good. And they had a pre-conference that really showcased that Sony is still focusing on the PSVR. That they're making games for it, that they're putting more and more on it, and that tells me a lot that this is not just a peripheral that is going to go away, which I'm glad, because there's a lot of people that bought a PlayStation VR. It's the most sold VR headset, and a lot of people right now are like, VR is about to be dead, but PlayStation, they put a ton of money into this system. They're still supporting it. They even put up a new updated version of the VR headset, and it's probably cheaper made, like the parts are a little bit cheaper now, but they did do they moved the headphone jack into a place where it's like on the actual headset, so it's easier to like plug in. So it's not plugged down here, and then it's like your headphones are not reaching you. So I'm glad to see that PlayStation is actually supporting the VR headset and making more games, not just experiences, but actual games for it.
And like I know Xbox had its issues with the Kinect,
which is dead.
Which is completely dead. But I think PlayStation VR can be so much more than what the Kinect was. They can be so much. It could be a great thing for the gaming industry. And I don't want to see PlayStation give up on it, which, as we've seen, they're not giving up on it. I want them to ride this pony as long as they can.
Yeah, and like I don't remember the titles off of it's Stifle and there's another one. It was very arcadey, kind of like Wii game, VR games that actually released that day.
Yeah.
Which was nice to see that they were like putting this is stuff right now. Stifle is kind of like Perception, where it's like you're blind and you can use echolocation and everything. But But it's cool to see that they're getting that support. Now, we're going to get into the thick of things. A lot of Paris Games Week stuff here. So if you've already know all this stuff, congratulations.
You're about to learn some more.
I like you because you're cool. You watched it along with me. Guacamelee 2 has been revealed. To kick off PlayStation's Paris Games Week show, the publisher revealed that a certain indie game from 2013 is getting a sequel. Drinkbox Studio is back at it again with Guacamelee 2. A fair bit of gameplay was shown off, and it looks as colorful and diabolically difficult as the first. Dimensional waves and chicken transformations return. The biggest addition shown off was the reveal of 4-player co-op. Guacamelee 2 currently has no release date, with Drinkbox Studio saying that it's coming soonish. Love Guacamelee, love Severed. Drinkbox is a gem of a studio, and I'm glad to see that they're going to be making another Guacamelee 2. It looks really good. The 4-player co-op actually kind of caught me off guard because they did a version of Guacamelee that actually had 2-player co-op in it, which kind of changed it a little bit and made it, more interesting. But it is a hard game, so seeing that, and that was the first game that they showed, and I was like, oh, awesome! Drinkbox coming out with Guacamelee 2, and it's PlayStation 4 exclusive at the moment.
Okay.
So I think it won't be coming to Xbox for a while.
Say you don't okay, I was about to say.
Because it did come to Xbox eventually.
It did. It took a while.
Drinkbox Studio they have a lot of favor with Sony. Sony has treated them very well, so they're the first ones that they go to. I could see it coming to Xbox One, PC, and Switch eventually, but PlayStation's going to get it first for sure.
It'll probably kind of be like the Tomb Raider thing where it was like a year.
Yeah. And then what's interesting is Drinkbox has supported the PlayStation Vita for a very long time. This is not coming to the Vita, which is very interesting to me. Very interesting to me, because Severed, which was their last game, was totally Vita exclusive. So, actually, it's come to Switch now. So, just so no one's like, oh, it's on Switch. And I'm like, it's now on Switch.
Could this be Vita Island?
We're not going to talk about Vita.
Sorry, I know it's an emotional topic.
Yeah. Loco Roco 2 has been remastered, and it will hit PS4 on December 9th. Back in June, it was announced that the charming PSP platformer Loco Roco 2 is being remastered for PlayStation 4. During the Paris Games Week Sony pre-show, we received a December 9th release date for it. Loco Roco 2 Remastered also features a native 4K resolution on PlayStation 4 Pro and 1080p on standard PlayStation 4 systems. The original Loco Roco was remastered on PlayStation 4 this past May. If you want to get your fix now, go ahead and put that needle in your arm.
Have any of y'all played Loco Roco?
I have played Loco Roco. It's excellent.
I mean, it's one of the side scrollers, right?
Like you're controlling, like you can make this big blob, and then you can break it up, and like it's a side scroller, but you're like figuring out puzzles, and like you have to use your weight and all of that different kind of stuff, and like avoid obstacles in the world.
Okay.
So it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Since Loco Roco has got a remastered, Patapon got a remaster. Now we're getting a remaster of Loco Roco 2. I sense Patapon 2 is getting a remaster. If Loco Roco can get a remaster.
It's probably safe to bet.
I would hope so. I love you, Patapon. Final Fantasy 15 episode Ignis gets new trailer, December 13th release date. From Gladio to Prompto, Noctis road trip buddies have received DLC to get to know them better and play from their perspectives. Ignis' turn is just around the corner. At Paris Games Week 2017, Square Enix showed off a new trailer for Final Fantasy XV's episode Ignis. Like other characters in Noctis' game, Ignis' episode will focus on the character and focus on his character and development as he stops at nothing to keep the prince safe. The trailer showed Ignis driving a boat, grappling up on rooftops, and flashy combat moves. Episode Ignis hits on December 13th, and you can check out the trailer if you want to. Now, I don't know anything about Final Fantasy.
Neither do I.
15 or anything like that, but I think Ignis betrays Noctis.
Sure.
From what I know.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, from what I know.
You play Final Fantasy, right?
I've played some of it. I haven't played this most recent one, but a friend of mine has it.
Yeah.
Well,
so I'm pretty sure he betrays the old Princey Poo.
I'm sitting at a strong 0 on Final Fantasy games.
I've never played any of them. Never will. That's to each his own, okay?
Yeah,
each his own.
That's not us crapping on Final Fantasy. There's games that I love that everybody else doesn't love.
Yeah.
And I mean, it goes around. You know, it goes around.
No, I totally get that. My friend who has that game for the longest time, she was like, I'm not going to play Final Fantasy. And then she was like, well, I guess the graphics look good. So she got 15. She was like, I really like it.
Like, it looked gorgeous. The trailer looked really good and everything. And I'm glad that they're putting out more DLC. It's better than that VR fishing game that they're trying to, like, just get people to...
Game of the year.
Oh, my God. I don't know what you're doing, Square, but that is a wrong step right there.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in it, it is coming out December 13th. So there you go. Spelunky 2 has been revealed for the PlayStation 4. For all you Spelunky fans, get out your picks. Sony Paris Games Week pre-show ended on a huge reveal of Spelunky 2. What?
Allie being Allie.
Yeah.
Pickaxes.
I know, like, I heard pics, and I was like, what? Because I was thinking, like, pictures?
Or like picks, like picking your hair. Reveal of Spelunky 2, a sequel to the indie game mega hit Spelunky. Details of the games are sparse as the trailer only showed art indicating that the game takes place after the Spelunker was victorious at getting the gold in the original Spelunky. Spelunky was originally released in 2008, then remade as Spelunky HD in 2012 for the Xbox 360. Since then, it has been ported to nearly every system and is one of the most popular and well-beloved indie games for its immaculate design and daily challenges. Now, if you're a Spelunky fan and you haven't watched the trailer, you need to go watch the trailer. It's sad. You're going to cry. The Spelunker dies.
Oh.
He grows old. He teaches his daughter
How to
spelunk. And he passes away. She goes to the stars. She's spelunking in space. But yeah, the Spelunker is dead.
She just wants to mine the stars.
Yep. She just wants to mine all of that. Now, this next game was one of the more interesting from the pre-show. And this was Concrete Genie. It looks really good. Concrete Genie lets you paint the town and bring your creations to life on PS4. During the PlayStation Live media briefing for Paris Game Week, indie developer Pixelopus announced Concrete Genie. Sorry,
It's either Pixelopus or Pixelopus.
I'm sorry that I butchered your name. In the game, the main character possesses a large paintbrush, which uses to. I did this whole show last week by myself, and I killed it. And y'all come in here, and I'm over here, blah, 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 which he uses. I thought it was a girl. Okay, but anyway, which he uses to paint scenes on a wall to solve puzzles and progress through the game. Which. Whatever, I'm not going to get on that. In the trailer, we see him create everything from a serene waterfall in the woods to fantastical creatures. As he paints them, the scenes come to life, allowing him to advance in the real world environment. For instance, in one sequence, he draws a fire-breathing monster that burns a wooden door, impeding his progress. You can see the full trailer on the YouTubes.
Now,
it comes out in 2018.
This doesn't seem like a game for me because when it comes to drawing,
it's not you drawing, like you actually drawing.
So
it's more of a what's a game that's like this? trying to remember.
Kind of like how Legos make you build.
Yeah. Like it's not like where you're like, you're like you moved your stick around and then like paint some.
All right, army of stick figure people, go.
Yeah, like it's not going to be like that difficult. It looks really cool. If you're into those kind of indie games, then this is definitely one. It doesn't have like. I want to compare it to Unraveled, but it's not anything like that. But it's like one of those kind of like indie darling type deal. Like it's a cutesy thing, but it does look like it has some things that are going to be really interesting to its gameplay. So
I mean, I could draw an army of hand turkeys to go attack people too. But as far as
I can draw an army of characters that have one eye, not the other eye, and no hands.
why one eye?
People with all the
You haven't heard
nubs.
that? It's like a joke where it's like people like they joke about like you always try to like use bangs to cover up an eye because you can never draw the other eye on a character. You never heard that before?
No, well,
No,
we're not.
because
I'm not artist by any means either.
I never did like the really like realistic eyes. I did like the Dragon Ball Z eyes, so like I didn't have to worry about that. New PS4, Jim, let's try that again. New PSVR Gangster Revenge, titled Blood and Truth, announced. When gangsters come after your family, it's only natural for a former soldier to hit back and do what he does best: bang bang. That's not in the article, but I added that. At Paris Game Week, Sony announced the newest action title for the peripheral from London studios, Blood and Truth. The trailer shows our protagonist Ryan infiltrating a gangster-held hotel casino via stealth and good old-fashioned gunplay, including dual wielding. And there's no release date so far, but the trailer looks really good. London Studio has been doing a good job.
Yeah.
They did some PlayLink stuff. I think they did That's You. We played that on our channel before. That's one of their games. So I'm really looking forward to it. It looks fantastic. So there you go. Now we're past the pre-show. We're in the meat and potatoes.
Meat and taters.
This pretty much opened up the show.
A can of worms, a can of whoopee.
Yeah.
They opened a can of worms and all the worms squiggling all over the stage.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Did you ever watch Can of Worms on Disney? It was one of the worst Disney original movies, just saying. Sucker Punch announced, yes, I pulled that one from the abyss.
It's
Well,
no
that's what
smart
the Disney
house,
Bowl.
okay? It's
Yeah.
no smart house.
Sucker Punch announces Ghost of Tsushima. The publisher behind the infamous and Sly Cooper have moved on to a new IP. We don't know a lot about Sucker Punch's new game, but it looks stunning and is set in feudal Japan amidst warring samurai. The trailer shows off a young samurai who appears to be on fire. Could this be a samurai game with superpowers? Either way, we're looking forward to learning more about this game. You can check out the trailer. Now, from what I got from the trailer, okay, they're taking it like a literal thing. Like, he's from Tsushima. That's what I'm assuming. That's where he got ambushed by this Mongol. The flames are burning away his old life. Like that's him. Like all that he knew before gone in flames.
Samurai.
Yeah. Long time.
I was hoping. Oh, I love you. I was like, come on.
But
Yes.
that's what I feel it is. It's like the fire is like consuming his old life. He's no longer a samurai. He looks more like a ninja. That's just me. Now he's the ghost of Tsushima, whatever.
Can we call him Jack?
Yeah, we're calling him Jack. Sucker Punch has announced this game. There is some history behind it. Ghost of Tsushima is an open world action game set during the feudal period of Japan and will allow players to see the power of the Mongol Empire's firsthand. The Mongol Empire has invaded the island of Tsushima and players will attempt to fight back against this powerful force as one of the last surviving samurai. Sony and Sucker Punch tease that you must move beyond your samurai traditions to forge a new way of fighting, the way of the ghost, as you wage an unconventional war for freedom of Japan. I called it before I even read the article. Sucker Punch has been relatively quiet since the release of its last title, Infamous Second Son, and the game's standalone expansion, Infamous First Light. They have been. And I'm like, what you doing, Sucker Punch? What you doing? We know what Media Molecule's doing. They're making Dream, but Sucker Punch was like, shh.
Now we know what
they're doing.
So like they're in their room and the parents are like, "What are you doing?"
Nothing.
PlayStation Scott Rode offered a brief update on Sucker Punch back in 2015, saying he had played the studio's next game, calling it fun, but still in the early stages of development. He also addressed the future of Infamous, saying Sony is never going to retire an IP, but wouldn't confirm whether or not Sucker Punch is working on another entry of the series. So, I'm glad that they're doing a new IP. Yeah. It's just kind of like Guerrilla Games going to Horizon Zero Dawn. It was time to move on. It was time to kind of open that up. And if they were to go back to it, I think they've learned a lot from Horizon Zero Dawn. And I think Sucker Punch will learn a lot from doing Ghost of Tsushima. I can't say it. I'm just sorry.
Tsushima.
Is it Tsushima? Because I think the T is silent.
It's like
Toshiba.
I do like this. I love seeing these new ideas come out.
Yeah.
And seeing, back in high school, the argument was always ninja or pirate. And those have always been my two favorite things to play with in video games is pirates and ninjas. And now you get this samurai ninja guy that you get to play as. And it just looks cool. Like when he upper sword cuts the horse and then comes back down.
Yeah.
It looks freaking amazing. So I think this is going to be one of the games where Sucker Punch is going to come out, and it's going to be one of those games that everybody loves.
Yeah. Here's some history here. Okay. Some history. The game is set during the first Mongol invasion of Japan, which took place in 1274. The Kublai Khan had already established a dynasty in China and claimed Korea. Upon reaching the sea, his next target was the island of Japan. He made multiple demands to the Emperor of Japan, encouraging him to submit to Mongol rule. Anticipating the Emperor would reject these offers, the Great Khan was at the same time constructing an invasion fleet. When the rejections did come, the Khan set sail with thousands of soldiers and hundreds of boats. He set his sights on Tsushima as a small island strategically located in the straits between Korea and the main islands of Japan. The island was ideally located for both trade and defense regarding to the Asian mainland, and was the nearest part of Japan that could be reached from the Mongols' ports in Korea. On October 5th, the Khan's forces landed on Komadahama Beach.
Yeah.
There we go. Where they handily defeated the local governor and his cavalry. The Mongols subjugated the island and reportedly slaughtered its inhabitants. If you want to read the rest of this, it's a very in-depth article that's over on IGN called The History Behind the Ghost of Tsushima by Stephen Butts. Steve's a good guy. Y'all are immature. Y'all are just churlish. Y'all just churlish. Now, the next game that was in the Paris Games Week looked really, really cool, and it's actually live action, which is interesting.
It's been a while since one of those has come around.
Exactly. Erika is a new PS4 exclusive adventure. Fans of choice-focused storytelling have a new PS4 game to be excited about. During Sony's Paris Games Week presentation, new studio Flavorworks revealed Erika, an adventure game tied to Sony's PlayLink initiative, which I'm very, very excited for.
That'll be interesting.
And it was recently released, as was the recently released Hidden Agenda, which I haven't played that one yet. Erika appears to be a thriller focused on a woman trying to piece together a mystery, and players have the ability to guide her choice and shape the outcome of the story. It has live action elements like Late Shift, as you can see yourself in the trailer below, which is not below, but y'all can check that out.
What I like about the games like this, I love to be able to shape my world to how I want to play this.
Yeah.
And we've talked many games that's like this.
Telltale.
Yeah.
Life is Strange.
And keep making games like this because I don't feel like these will ever go out of style because who doesn't want to make the game what they want it to be.
Yeah, and what's great is like we played That's You, which is a PlayLink game, and all you have to do is have the game and your phone, and your friends can help make the choices. Like it's a very involved game, which I'm looking forward to because the trailer that they showed looked like it's going to be a really cool game, and the developer no, it's not Sucker Punch. Supermassive has just put out a game that is like that as well, that you play as a cop, and I want us to play that eventually for a multiplayer Let's Play because it's really good. It's really good. It's going to be a long Let's Play, but it's good. So there you go. If you're looking for a good like I guess you could play it single player. I'm not sure, Erika, but if you're looking for something to do like on a Friday night and you got your beloved one beside you, there you go. Have some fun with Erika. Not like hey, I want to try this thing kind of deal. No kitten caboodles.
Whole caboodle.
New Far Cry 5 trailer highlights cooperative play. You can team up with a buddy online in Far Cry 4, but your only option for wreaking havoc on Cryat was to sample the side activities like capturing anemones bases. Just anemones. Not like enemy bases, but anemones. With Far Cry 5, the full game is built for cooperative play, meaning you can tackle the entire campaign with a friend. Ubisoft highlighted this expanded focus on teamwork in the Paris Game Week's trailer. You can check that out. It looked great. Like, I'm excited for it. Like, I don't get too far into the Far Cry games, but like I know Daniel is huge on Far Cry, and I am looking forward to getting into it and like either me or you playing, me or him playing. Like of course it's a Ubisoft game, so you're gonna have all of that kind of gathering and all of that, which when we talk about Assassin's Creed here in a little bit, we'll talk about that because it's not actually in Assassin's Creed, which is actually pretty interesting. Like the feathers and all of that, it's not as like collectathon-y as it used to be.
Just wait.
It's not like
No, you're right. It is not.
It's just there's the first Assassin's Creed. Good God!
Like everything till this one is like 5,000 feathers. Go. First look at Destiny 2 Curse of Osiris release date has been revealed. If you haven't watched this trailer, have you watched this trailer?
I have watched the
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure. Because you didn't watch some of these that are better than this, I'm just saying. A new trailer gives us his first look at Destiny 2's first expansion, Curse of Osiris, previously announced several weeks ago. We talked about this on here, I'm just saying. If y'all didn't hear us talk about that, then what you're doing with your lives. The trailer provides some more context about the storyline and the expansion. We learned that in the midst of the conflict seen in the base game, the Vex have been building up their forces on Mercury. A notorious warlock named Osiris, first referenced in the Trials of Osiris from the original Destiny, knows something about what the Vex are up to, but he's lost on Mercury. It is clear that the warlock vanguard Okora is set to play an important role in the storyline, as she is one of Osiris's former pupils. The video also gives us a closer look at Osiris and his ghost for the first time. The ghost is particularly interesting as it has a shape that is different from the ghosts we've seen in Destiny up to this point, and seems actively involved in the combat scenes of the trailer as Osiris fights against the swarming army of Vex. Finally, the trailer gives us a good look at some cool locations on Mercury that Guardians get a chance to visit. Curse of Osiris is coming sooner than many Destiny 2 players may have thought. The DLC. It's not a game. It's an expansion. Launches on December 5th.
That's super close. Now, this looks really cool. Like, we've seen, what's his name? It's Osiris, We've seen Osiris. Cora Ray's talking him up and everything. Yeah. And this one's going to be super timey-wimey.
I'm curious about it because like the trailer looks really good. Allie's pulling up a picture of him. Looks really different compared to the other Ghost. He looks interesting as well.
I want his helmet.
He's Birdman.
But it makes sense. Osiris.
Yeah.
Actually, it doesn't make sense. Osiris is the god of the underworld. Horus is the bird god.
Right. I should know this. I just did a full quest about that. It's great.
Yeah, so Interesting. I'm glad to see that they're doing something with it, because I know I've talked to a few Destiny players, like the end game, like once you grind through like what little there is, there's nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that they're putting out an expansion. It seems like it's a little later than would be liked. Like it's earlier than some expected, but a lot of people have already started leaving Destiny.
Yeah, because I mean, really, once you get past the Leviathan raid, I mean, all you really have left to do is, wait, in a couple of weeks I'll get back on for Iron Banner, or in a couple of weeks I'll get back on for this event.
Yeah.
I haven't done any Iron Banner stuff yet.
I haven't done any.
I haven't jumped on in weeks.
It's been a while for me. A lot of new games have come out.
Yeah.
I still see Cass and a few other people on Destiny. I want to get back in. I want to do the raid.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you've got to have stuff that is like hefty to keep people in there. With all these other games coming out, I'd much rather play a new game than keep grinding and do it. Like, it's been fun, but until there's something that's like, oh, this is more story. I play it for the story.
Yeah.
I don't play it for the grind. And there's people that love the grind, say the grind is not as good as Destiny 1. So, there you go. You know what's not... Well, actually, it should be better than than it was, but it's got crappy controls because it's got the same controls as the original version. Shadow of the Colossus PS4 remake gets a release date. At Paris Games Week, Sony has announced that the Shadow of the Colossus remake will come to PlayStation 4 on February 6th, 2 days before my birthday. 2018. It came out. Sony's first revealed the date in the official YouTube description of a new trailer, and later confirmed the release on Twitter. I think they messed up, and then they confirmed it because it wasn't in the actual trailer. Sony announced that Shadow of the Colossus remake at E3, along with 2018 release window. At the time, Sony confirmed that the remake was developed by Bluepoint Games, who also handled the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus HD remaster that came to the PS3 in 2011. Now, they talk about how this game the Shadow of the Colossus assets will be remade. The game will retain the same feel of the original version. And the reason it retains the same feel is because it has the same controls as the original game, which were god-awful. If you ever tried to play this game, once you started getting on Colossus, your controls are crap. The camera is crap. You look at Last Guardian, which took forever to make. Crappy controls because it's back in PS2 era controls. If you're into this game, good for you.
It's a great game.
It's a great game. I'm not saying that, but if they're going to all of this trouble to remake this game, why not make the controls more in the time? Like, I know some people would be upset, but some people like me that haven't finished the game, I would actually try to play it. But now that I'm like, oh, it's got the same crappy controls, I'm going to sit out.
And that's a big turnoff for me on games that have, like, really bad controls and, different layouts and stuff like that. Yeah, you can change the layouts, but you're never going to find, especially in games like this, the perfect one. And, I'll sit there on Halo, Call of Duty, and I'll just continuously change my layouts till I get the perfect one. Because layouts is a huge thing for me. I want things to be convenient when I'm playing. And never played Colossus, but from what I'm hearing, they're not very convenient.
Yeah, it's just very old school, and even back then they were clunky, to my opinion. So it's just very interesting that they would do all of this graphical updating, but they wouldn't update the controls. So there you go. February 6th, 2018 for all the new Colossus people. Is the Call of Duty one next? Because I think I closed that one out.
Okay, we don't gotta do it.
Yeah.
So good.
Call of Duty, want your money. So there you go.
Now, I will go ahead and say this about Call of Duty.
Want your money.
They do want your money.
They want to open loot boxes in front of everybody.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I haven't bought a single one. But I've played about 4 or 5 online matches. Haven't gotten to the story mode yet because I really haven't had time to. But the online feels like we're going back to the roots of what made Call of Duty really fun, which was the multiplayer. I'm the marksman class, so I'm able to sit back. And, I'm not having an exosuit, being able to jump around and do flips and stuff.
Yeah. I think my biggest problem with it is the loot crates.
Yeah.
Not even the stuff that you buy. Because, you'll get rewards in games, and when you go back to Normandy Beach, you have to open your crate in front of everybody. There's a reward for you watching people opening their crates.
What?
Like, that. I'm being 100% honest.
That's so
There's a
dumb.
reward for you watching. I think it's 3 people open crates.
That's really weird.
Activision wants your money.
They do.
Everybody.
Like, it's sad how bad they're wanting your money. And this could be such a great breath of fresh air to this franchise if it weren't for these microtransactions and these loot boxes.
Go watch Jim Sterling. That's all I gotta say. Go watch Jim Sterling. He's on top of his game right now.
He rips them a new one.
He's on everybody. He's on everybody. You use loot boxes, he's gonna get
Call
you.
of Duty, more like Call of Duty.
Call of Luty.
Oh.
That's Jim's. That's Jim's, not mine. Naughty Dog reveals The Last of Us Part 2. I almost said Part 4. Cast. Naughty Dog storytelling is often top notch, so it's one of the few studios that can get us excited with a simple cast list. The Last of Us 2's recent trailer is incredibly brutal, but you might have missed some important casting announcements while cringing. Here's a rundown of who's playing each character from the recent trailer. Victoria Grace is Yara, and Laura Bailey is that blocked out on the screen up there? Can you read those all for me? Because I'm missing some of these.
Emily Swallow as Emily. Victoria Grace is Yara. Ian Alexander is Lee. And finally, Laura Bailey is blank.
I'm calling it right now. Laura Bailey's character is, what is her name?
The little girl.
My God,
Ellie?
Ellie. She's
Yeah.
Ellie's mother.
Oh.
That's who I'm saying she is.
Okay.
The trailer, very brutal. Very brutal.
Break her wings.
Like, it is awesome. One thing that we saw, like, at Paris Games Week, they showed this, but they didn't show Days Gone. I think PlayStation has this thing right now where they have 2 zombie games that are, like, a lot of people are really excited for. They can't show them in the same span time. Like, they can't show them at the same conference. So I think PSX, we see Days Gone, and we get a release date for it.
Which Days Gone looks intense.
It looks good.
Super intense.
Marvel Spider-Man gives you all the powers you want from the start. Now, we've played several games where you have to work up and you have to build all the skills and all this to give it from the start. It is always nice to see more of Insomniac's PS4 exclusive Spider-Man game, but you could almost feel the internet deflating when the Paris Games Week trailer took a focus on story. We've known that this would be an open world action game since E3, so why have we still not seen any open world gameplay more than a year after being announced? I think it's just in terms for our rollout, we want to focus on different things, explains creative director Brian Intihar. Yeah, there we go. When I put the question to him, trust me, we'll be talking about open world. There's no weird conspiracy or anything like that. The thing is, I've met more than a few people who simply didn't know this was an open world game at all. So if he can't show us, can he at least tell us how it will work? He said, not really, he laughs. I will tell you that if you think a character like Spider-Man who lends himself really well to swinging through the city would be doing the character a disservice if we weren't encouraging gameplay like that. Swinging around the city is very important and a very key part to the experience. Interior breaks down the game's combat in 4 categories: melee, web slinging, environmental actions, and gadgets. Apparently, combat's a matter of juggling all 4, switching between them on the fly. When discussing the changes to webs, he says switching right, which could indicate that you use the D-pad to select combat styles. Then you add acrobatics, mid-air combos. He explains when it comes to combat, it's about mixing and matching those 4 types to how you want to play the game and what the situation calls for. Best of all, an experienced Spider-Man means you don't have to spend time as he gets grips on his powers. It's not like you load up the game and he doesn't have any powers. The first time you're swinging, the first time you're fighting, you need to feel like Spider-Man. We want to experience a Metroid Prime moment where we use all of our powers and then lose them all either. It's not about doing something cool, stripping your powers and starting again. You play Spider-Man and you play Spider-Man to be Spider-Man, and we want you to feel like that right away. I love that. So many times we get games where they're like, here's all the powers, and then 3 minutes later, like your person gets conked in the head and they don't know who they are.
And maybe, I don't know, kicked off a ship and your ghost goes flying off the ship as well. Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if this game, if I can go the entire game without web slinging, just running on the ground.
No.
Well, actually, yeah,
No.
it's probably
No.
really high.
How cool would that? Like, I would.
How dumb would that be? You're Spider-Man and you're not web slinging.
I would literally watch someone. They were like recording episodes of them not.
But how are they going to get up further
they could
things?
just climb up the wall.
I would watch that. I'm just saying.
God.
I would watch it.
Well, then you can play as Mary Jane since she's a playable character. After the latest trailer Insomniac Spider-Man game, many, including us, thought they'd spotted a moment that indicated longtime Spidey cast member Mary Jane Watson would be a playable character, and Insomniac has now addressed that idea. Yeah! Said Insomniac creative director Brian, speaking to IGN, I can confirm, yes, you actually play at various stages of the game Mary Jane. It is a very different experience than playing as Spider-Man, and it stays true to her character in terms of her background, that she's a reporter for the Daily Bugle. It captures that feeling. Also, the other things for us is that even though we are creating a superhero world in the fantasy, we thought it would be interesting to show what it is like to be a character who doesn't have superpowers, what it's like to be a person in a superhero world and actually control that character. They go on to say, I really like her role in the game and to put her in a role that maybe we haven't seen as much. It's less of a damsel in distress. She has much more capable contributor and a risk taker in this game, which I love. I love that they're not making MJ like a, just a damsel in distress type deal.
Go away with damsels in distress.
Yes, I agree. Make Robbie the damsel in distress.
Yeah, no.
I have been a damsel in distress at one point in my life.
Yeah, bears.
No, it was in a skit one time.
Were you a female
I
or
wore a dress and everything.
See, you're just perpetuating the stereotype that females are helpless.
Yeah.
I wasn't
You're
saying
part
that.
of the problem.
I wasn't
Robbie.
saying that.
You're part of the problem. You know what else is part of the problem? Metal Gear Survive is always online. Confirms Konami. Just kill it. Just kill this game, please. The news emerged following last week. Metal Gear Survive release date is confirmed, although it wasn't widely circulated. Rather, Konami included a small mention of its game's official website as spotted by a member of NeoGAF, which is no longer, unless they put it back up, because NeoGAF got shut down. Of course, you'll also need a subscription to PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold to play the game in the first place. Presumably, this is something many of you already have, but the news that Survive requires a constant internet connection is unlikely to please anyone. Metal Gear Survive is due for release on PS4, PC, and Xbox One in early 2018. The game is first entry in the venerable, stealth-based franchise to see the release following the departure of series creator Hideo Kojima. Don't buy it. Don't waste your money. It's going to be garbage. I'm sorry. I know Adam Gumbert's like, why are you just crapping on this game? But because they hurt Kojima. They hurt you. They hurt him. Okay? Don't waste your money on this. There's far better games out there. Use your money on that. All right? Use your money on that.
Now,
don't be other side on here.
No. I'm just curious. Is it the game itself, or is it the people behind the game? Is the reason?
It's kind of both of them. Like Metal Gear is not a open shooter. It's a stealth based game with shooting.
I played Phantom Pain.
Okay.
And I did not like it.
Yeah.
So I'm going off of it's probably not going to be a good game based on the last iteration of the game, which was Phantom Pain.
Phantom Pain. Excellent game. You just don't know how to play it. Like Metal Gear is not like any other stealth-based game. It's not like any other game, and I'm not saying you're a bad player or anything. It's just a different game in and of itself.
And I just didn't like it. So I'm not saying the game is bad. I'm not saying this game is going to be bad. It's just not my wheelhouse of game.
I am. I'm saying it's going to be awful. You know, it's not going to be awful. Play as Horizon Zero Dawn's Aloy in the Monster Hunter World on PlayStation. Monster Hunter World is coming in January, and the Paris Games Week 2017 exclusive has been announced for PlayStation version of the game. PS players can play as Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. Soon enough, you can test out the game for yourself. The Monster Hunter World Beta is coming to PS4 on December 9th.
Now, I've never played Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
What is the premise? Obviously, you're hunting monsters.
Yeah, you're hunting monsters.
Like, is it like that? That Saturday morning cartoon that used to come on.
Godzilla,
no, where it was like the little yellow eye, and then it had the
Thundercats.
It was a monster show. Oh,
Monster Ranchers.
Monster Rancher.
No, it's not that. It's like Tyrannosaurus Rex, like on steroids.
Kind of like Ark.
Yeah, but it's like different. Like it's much different. It's a franchise that's been going on for a very, very long time.
Come on, switch it over. Don't make me look dumb.
No,
Come on.
I'm sorry.
Come on. Yeah. That was my show.
You remember?
Man.
Did you ever play the game?
I did.
You know, where you could like put the CDs in and you can get like whatever. Like you're just like shoving CDs into your PlayStation to get more of them. No, this is like it's a totally different game. I've only played a very little of it. They're always very, very intricate and very in depth. They're big in Japan.
Yeah.
So PlayStation getting early access to like the beta and everything is going to be huge. Having Aloy, which she hunts dinosaurs that are robotic and everything, that's going to be really cool. So it's nice to see that Monster Hunter is like really having a relationship with PlayStation, which they have had for a very long time because they lived on Vita for a very long time. That's where a lot of them came out because Vita is huge over in Japan and everything. So I'm glad to see it coming on there. So yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn has got some more news. The Frozen Wilds DLC isn't in-game content. Guerrilla Game knows that people didn't finish Horizon. I'm one of them.
I didn't finish it either, so I'm two of them.
After watching a hands-off demo of her, Frozen Wilds expansion, the onus seems very much on adding more for those who might have been distracted while progressing through the game, offering new rewards, quality of life improvements, and most importantly, the ability to make snow angels in photo mode. The Frozen Wilds is an estimated 15-hour chunk of extra material set in a bowling ball of new territory in the far north of the main game map. Its story runs concurrently with the main game, centering around the mystery of the so-called Damien, a hidden force which is frenzying machines, setting up tentacular control towers that can repair and buff enemies, and making gorgeous blue smoke billow from the Death Mountain like a volcano at the center of the new area. It also offers a more focused look on the nomadic Banuk tribe, who we bumped into briefly during the core game. This comes out December, right? Is it December or November?
I want to say it's December.
It doesn't say in there. Which I'm excited about this. This is going to be a good game.
Yeah, I
good expansion. And this expansion is longer than
the game.
Some people's games.
Yeah. This is a game that I want to finish, playing through, because it was a great game. I enjoyed it, and we were both wrong because it was November.
November 7th. Okay.
This looks really cool. Going into the what?
That's like 2 days.
Oh, so it might actually be out when you watch this.
Yeah.
Since we're like an hour into the podcast and not even out of games.
Yeah. Woo. But I'm excited. I think this is a great game. I think this franchise is great.
It's got wonderful gameplay. The scenery is amazing. The characters are great. The tribes are awesome. If you're looking for... I think it's an RPG. Derek Daniel calls it RPG light. I think it's an amazing game. It's one of the potential game of the year for me. So, this story right here is shocking. It's shocking to me. I did an interview with Housemarque a few months ago, and when I read this, my mouth was agape. I was like, "What is going on?" Housemarque leaving arcade shooters behind. Finnish developers Housemarque, Super Stardust, Resogun, Matterfall, Alien Nation, Dead Nation have announced that they are moving away from the genre that they've become well known for, arcade shooters, and moving into new genre areas. The reasoning is explained in a blog by
Larry Kutinen.
CEO is pure and simple economics. Lackluster sales of Next Machina have led to us to thinking that it is time to bring our long-standing commitment to arcade genre to an end. While this genre will always hold a special place in our hearts, the industry is moving more towards multiplayer experiences with strong, robust communities, and it's time for Housemarque to move forward with the industry. Kutinen says the studio is currently working on multiple projects that are totally different than what you might expect from us, but nothing concrete was announced. To learn more about Next Machina's development and collaboration with arcade designer Eugene Jarvis, watch their interview from Game Informer, and you can watch our interview.
Like, what I'm taking from this, yeah, it's crazy. It's always very scary and shocking when a company just kind of steps away from what they're known for. But I also see this as something that's going to be good because this gives them a way to branch out and show that they can do other things. Like with me, I loved when I saw, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, these comedic actors take on more serious roles. And I kind of look at it like that. Like if they're going to take it, they're not going to be the arcade shooter type anymore. They're going to move it to something probably more serious, more story driven or something like that. I just like seeing people get out of their shell and kind of see, what they can do.
Yeah, and you look at this and you realize that they're being very, very blunt about this, that it is because of sales of their games. And then you look at EA when they shuttered Visceral. They said a lot but said nothing at all at the same time. And when someone's honest about things, and especially like for the people that have bought their games and played their games, you see them it hurts, but it's also like, you're being honest with me. You're not selling me crap right now. You're not, trying to fluff me on this. You're being honest, and that goes a very long way. And I think they will keep the people that are buying their games, and hopefully they will get more people to buy their games because Housemarque, they love games, and gameplay is king. That is their motto. Gameplay is king, and I'm interested to see where they go from now because this year they put out 2 games. They put out Next Machina and they put out Matterfall.
Yeah.
So 2 games in 1 year that are sort of the same style but very different. And Next Machina is an awesome game, so y'all definitely need to play that. Telltale's final season of The Walking Dead has been announced. Writer Gary Whitta returns. Now, if you don't, do you know who Gary Whitta is?
Didn't he write the first season of this?
He wrote episode 4 of the first season. Okay. He was part of the team that worked on that. But he also co-wrote a little movie called Star Wars Rogue One.
Oh, really?
It's called Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
I was going to say, Allie, we have a lot of things on this table that's throwable.
Also is now a co-star or co-host of the Kind of Funny Games Daily.
I saw that.
Yep.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah.
Because I follow a lot of what the Kind of Funny group on Facebook posts. I always see what they post, and they had him on, which is really cool. Yeah,
I love, he's got a very interesting side of it. But I'm going to jump into this. If you played the last season of Telltale's Walking Dead: A New Frontier, you know more was on the way for Clementine's story. Today, Telltale officially announced its final season of Robert Kirkman's zombie-infested world. To conclude the tale, Telltale is bringing back writer Gary Whitta as a story consultant, who is best known for his work on Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and Book of Eli. Whitta also wrote the 4th episode of Telltale's first season of The Walking Dead. Collaborating with Telltale on the first season of Clementine's journey through the world of The Walking Dead was one of the highlights of my career, so reuniting with them to now bring her story to a close with the final season feels like a homecoming, Whitta said in a press release. Clementine has become not just one of the most compelling characters in the Walking Dead pantheon, but one of the great video game characters of all time. I hope we're able to do justice to her and to millions of the fans. This one feels special. The Walking Dead the final season, working title, hits in 2018 on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, Mac, iOS, and Android. I'm sure that it will come to Switch as well.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a real, he goes a little bit more in depth on this, talks a little bit more, I would go listen to this past week's episode of Kind of Funny Daily Show. Kind Kind of Funny Games Daily, where he talks about this. It has like Walking Dead in the title. It's very, very good. But they also have announced that the Walking Dead Telltale Series collection for PS4 and Xbox One launches on December 5th. The collection includes all 19 episodes on a single disc and is also releasing digitally. It includes most of the recent seasons, as well as a visually enhanced version of the season 1 and 2, 400 Days, and Michonne miniseries. The set costs $49.99, and you can get a peek at the visual upgrades online. So that's very awesome. I'm excited for it. Clementine, like season 1, made me cry.
It was very emotional. I didn't finish season 1.
Do you finish anything?
Sometimes.
Anyway,
I have it.
I don't care. You need to finish it.
I own season 1 and 2. I mean, there's that.
EA and DICE tune loot boxes in Battlefront 2. During the beta for the Battlefront 2, players noticed that the loot box aspects of the game implied some grinding for paying for what the game called crates. After heavy criticism coming out of the beta, DICE have announced major changes to the way the crate system worked. Before and during the beta, Battlefront 2 would only dole out weapons and abilities above base tier through crates. This on its own could be annoying, but it encouraged players to pay for crates in order to just get the best weapons and abilities from beginning, or getting frustrated and pay for crates in hopes of losing less. Now, DICE have promised to make the following changes. Epic Star Cards, the highest tier of Star Cards available at launch, have been removed from crates. You'll need to you need to reach a certain rank to craft upgrade star cards. Weapons are locked behind specific milestones. Class-specific gear and items can be unlocked by playing as them. In short, DICE want to de-emphasize a player's ability to pay to win. Now it's more about putting in the time to unlock weapons through playing as a class. Getting heavy weapons requires playing as a heavy and reaching play milestones like kills and wins. Crates are still incorporated in the game, but now do not do everything, which makes a major difference from how it used to work. Now, I was listening to some people talk about this week. There's still a way that you can use these crates to be advantageous, where you can break down cards and build better stuff from them. So you could still pay to win.
Yeah, but
it's a lot harder system to do it, but you still can pay to win. So that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not going to get on the loot box because I get on it every week. I had to reel myself in last week. No one was here to reel myself in, but just saying.
I trust me.
That's all I'm going to say.
It's everywhere.
EA says it will bring EA Access-style subscription programs to other platforms. EA has revealed that it has plans to expand its subscription services like Xbox One's EA Access and PC Origins Access to other platforms, although it doesn't specify exactly what they'd be. Our subscription service like EA Access and Origin Access are bringing more players from across our network to join. Our subscription players base continues to grow, and you should expect us to continue driving this model to more platforms as we're going forward. The one thing that's often lost when we have this conversation is that unlike linear media, the subscription fee paid is not the total value of what a player might expand as they enjoy the games they play inside our subscription. And we also believe long term, while it may take us some years to facilitate that at the kind of scale that we expect to evolve to, in the same way the digital music and digital movies have evolved, the upside for this interactive entertainment industry is uncapped by virtue of the value of live services that are born inside of a subscription. I know that you used EA Access a little bit, and
I still have it.
You still have it? Okay. So what's interesting about this is that with this service, it's kind of like the Netflix-ish of things.
I mean, it gives you tons of games that you can play, and also if you're buying a game that's EA, you do get a little bit knocked off the price, so you're not paying full price for any EA game. There's the Mass Effect games and different stuff like that. I mean, it's nice. I haven't used it to the fullest of my ability because I have so many other games that I'm wanting to play, and they're newer compared to the older ones. But it's perfect for the people who are like, you know what? I think I want to try out FIFA this year. Let me get on EA Access. Let me play a game of FIFA like I did, and realize
it's not.
I don't want FIFA. I can't play FIFA. I suck at FIFA. And it was also like, oh, let me play EA's NBA game. And I was like, you know what?
Why would you even do that to yourself?
This is not for me either. But go ahead.
It's a good way to try out games.
Yeah.
And it's the only company that's really going for this. Like, we have PlayStation Now, which is more of the older games, virtual console style stuff. That's a subscription based. And then we have this as actually a third party publisher doing it. So you don't see Ubisoft or Activision or anybody doing this. So it's very interesting to see where this will go. It's been going on for a while now. You don't really hear a ton about it, but they're building infrastructure for the future. So it's just, I think they're future-proofing themselves. But what doesn't make any sense to me, EA is not ready to commit to making more Nintendo Switch games. Following the release of FIFA 18 on Switch, Electronic Arts is not in any rush to bring additional software to the Nintendo's platform. EA Chief Financial Officer Blake Jorgensen told the Wall Street Journal the publisher plans to wait until the console has been on the market a full year before deciding whether to make more games for it. According to Jorgensen, it is too early to judge the success of FIFA 18 on the Nintendo Switch. As such, EA wants to fully understand what the demands is for the platform before committing more development resources to making new games for the platform. Now, I understand why they're doing this. Like, they've had problems in the past. Like, Nintendo has had problems selling consoles from the Wii U side of things. Wii, on the other hand, sold gangbusters because everybody wanted one. But so far, the Switch has sold, I want to say, 6 or 7 million units. And then the Super Mario has already sold over 2 million units. There's an install base of 4.7 million, I want to say, of Zelda, like Breath of the Wild, already out there. So these games are selling well. These games are doing well. But I understand, like, from a business side, like, I don't know, but at the same time, when there are games on these consoles, people are buying them if they're quality. I think that EA needs to, instead of just porting stuff over, they need to have their own division of people that are just making Switch games.
The Switch has sold 7.63 million units worldwide.
I'm good.
Like, I agree 100% with that. No businessman is going to jump in bed with you on the first date. So, I mean, I understand them wanting to take this approach, but when you've had Nintendo come out, you haven't seen numbers like this from a Nintendo since the Wii days. Wii U, I mean, yeah, Nintendo screwed up big time there. They dropped a ball. But, I mean, as you could see, the track record for the Switch is phenomenal. It is doing amazing. This would be one of the few times where if I was a businessman, I would jump in bed with you right now.
Yeah. Those are the analogies that you use. L.A. Noire is the next Switch game that won't fit in the Switch's internal memory. The eShop version of L.A. Noire for the Nintendo Switch is too big to fit on their internal storage. Developer Rocksteady revealed the news via a post on the support page of L.A. Noire. The article goes into further detail about the storage requirements, which differ depending on what version of the game you choose to pick up. If you decide to pick the physical cartridge version up, expect a 14 gig download before you can play, which contains required gameplay data as well as general bug fixes and improvements. However, those who opt to buy a digital copy of L.A. Noire for their Nintendo Switch will have to purchase a micro SD card, which is sold separately of the console. This is because L.A. Noire's file size is 29 gigabytes, just 3 gigabytes short of the Nintendo Switch's 32 gigabyte internal storage capacity. As a standard, the console already uses 6.2 gigabytes of storage for the system itself, making it impossible to download on a Nintendo Switch without the upgraded internal storage. As well, the Nintendo Switch L.A. Noire will be coming to PS4, Xbox One, and virtual reality devices. So there you go.
Well, it's really not, like, at first I read it and I was like, what, that's crazy, but then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, whenever I got the game, because I had on the 360, it took up 4 discs, so.
Yeah, it was 4 disc, and a lot of that was when Rockstar and other companies were trying to keep people from, like, copying disc and all of that. But it is a huge game, and those games were, like the Xbox 360s weren't Blu-rays back then. They were running like HD something. I can't remember what they were doing.
The crappy versions.
Yeah.
720, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember what they were. There was a specific disc they were using. It wasn't Blu-ray. I'm excited for L.A. Noire. It's going to be an awesome game with updated graphics and everything. I'm still trying to make the choice of, do I get it on the Switch or do I get it back on the PS4?
Yeah, especially now, like, considering that. It's like, if I get this game, I have to go do some other stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
So I've avoided any game that's made me buy an SD card so far. Rocket League on the Switch finally gets a release date, and this is one that is huge.
Oh, yeah.
The much-loved Rocket League will be making its way to Switch next month, and it features 3 Nintendo-themed cars. On November 14th, Switch owners can start scoring this month. Not next month. Can start scoring goals in this rocket-powered battle car sports game that keeps getting new content. Whether you're flying through the air or slam a giant basketball into a net or trying to get a shot on the goal in soccer, Rocket League is a game that you'll want to bring with you everywhere you go. And it will be $19.99 on the Nintendo eShop. So November 14th, not very far away.
Yeah.
Got another week before that comes out. So.
This is great. I love that they're getting special car, the paints and everything.
Yeah, we're getting the Mario, the Luigi, and the Samus car from Metroid Prime.
So, good for them. Rocket League it sells. Like, everybody loves Rocket League.
You know what's another Rocket League? Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon trailer introduces Team Rainbow Rocket. Villains and legendaries from across the history of the franchise come together in the upcoming sequel, and a new trailer posted by the official Pokemon Company. Villains from every Pokemon generation come together under the banner of Team Rainbow Rocket. The bigger and badder reincarnation of the Kanto region's main antagonist, boasting the support of every evil team leader across 20 years of games, and led by Giovanni himself, the new organization is bent on carrying out their evil plans for the Alola region, and only the player has a chance of stopping them. In addition, the trailer shows a slew of other features coming to the game. This includes legendaries from every generation, which can be caught beyond the Ultra Wormhole. Some of even boasting mega transformations. Totem stickers can be collected to obtain totem versions of Pokemon as well, and Refined Battle Agency will offer a twist on regular and competitive battles. To see everything in action before the game's November 17th release, check out that trailer.
Nintendo, whatever you need, take it.
I'm not getting it.
I'm getting
I sold my 3DS.
I'm getting it. I mean, just
give me my game on my Switch, man. That's all I want. I don't want any more of this. Like, if they would put this in the Switch version, that would have been awesome.
Oh, I would love it for the Switch. Like, I would go out and buy a Switch just for this.
Yeah.
But I still have a 2DS somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm definitely this going from Giovanni all the way up, all the legendaries, the mega evolutions. I mean,
you got everything. Got everything.
I'm down.
Got everything you want.
I'm down.
You know what else I'm down for, if this is true? Rocksteady Superman game rumored announcement in the Game Informer. The developer behind the Batman Arkham video game franchise are reportedly working on a Superman title, according to a new rumor circulating on 4chan. The website claims the Game Informer is going to announce the new project as part of its December issue, and that will feature the Man of Steel. Game Informer cover will be revealed next week. It will be Rocksteady's Superman game. The scale and the ambition of the game is massive. You all will be blown away by the details. Can't wait to see your reaction, lads. Rocksteady has yet to officially confirm its next project, though it has teased fans will lose their minds when it finally claps eyes on it. This isn't the first time we've heard murmurs of the Superman game from Rocksteady. However, Batman Arkham Knight contained an Easter egg that may hint to the identity of the studio's next project. Rocksteady has been working on the Arkham franchise since 2009.
I mean, it's not going to be Superman 64, but
anything's better than that. I'm excited for it. I think this is going to be freaking awesome.
I mean,
Arkham, all the Batman games were great.
Oh yeah,
and people crap on Origins, but it still was good, even though it was made by WB Montreal. I still think it was a good one. I'm excited for it.
Put Superman in that world.
Yeah.
I mean, with everything that Superman can do.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to balance the gameplay. That's the thing that I'm curious about. Like, how are they going to balance this gameplay? Because, with Batman, he's powerful, but it's balanced because he's a human.
He can. If he gets punched by a human. It's not going to be like. And
he's like a bruise tomorrow, like it's punched you.
like what happened to you, Robbie? punch myself.
That's
But
what I
like,
do
yeah,
on the weekends.
like how are they going to do that? Is it going to be like you only fight supervillains? Like, I mean,
Yeah, like it's got to have something to it that is like that balances the system and everything. What? Kryptonite?
everybody has no like, Lex Luthor, like does something to the sun, makes it the same sun as what they had on Krypton.
So a red sun?
The red sun. And like he slowly has to build up his powers again. I don't know. It'd
be interesting to see what they do because I know that's probably when they started making this game. That was their first concern. How do we balance it? So I'm curious to see what that's going to be. Now to wrap up all this gaming news, all this goodness that we've been going on, man, it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
This is gonna be the longest episode we've had in a long time.
PlayerUnknown's Battleground
PUBG
is releasing on Xbox One on December 12th. Confirmed during a Microsoft special event stream, the much anticipated PlayerUnknown's Battleground will be releasing on Xbox One on December 12th, making good on the promised 2017 release date by a scant few weeks. The game, which is being published by Microsoft on Xbox One but has been available as an early access title on PC since April, is Microsoft's big move to get attention for the Xbox One and Xbox One X this holiday. It's not a big surprise as Battlegrounds has slowly quietly become one of the biggest games in the world over the last 6 months. So how this is going to pretty much work is it's going to be released digitally, and then a retail version has been announced, hopefully in time of the game's December 12th release. Xbox One enhancements like HDR and 4K will also be followed sometime after launch. I don't think we get a physical copy this year. I think we get like the early access, the Xbox One early access, whatever it's preview program, pretty much, and then we get a physical copy along with the PC's like full version next year. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, I could see that because they'll definitely release the digital version, but it's going to take them a little bit of time to pump out the discs and everything like that.
I'd say we cut it right there. That's enough. That's like almost 2 hours.
I mean,
I think that's what they need. Why don't we do this? No more stories. We talk about a few games that we've been playing. And we end it like that. Okay. Huh?
I was like,
Okay, so that's all the news that you need to know.
I mean, there's movie news, but we're just...
Man, I've been reading for like an hour.
An hour and a half. For a while.
Been reading for an hour and a half. Okay, so what y'all been playing?
Assassin's Creed.
I'm plethora. I mix it up between been playing a little bit of Assassin's Creed, been playing a little bit of Call of Duty, Shadow of War, and I still have to play Madden from time to time.
Yeah,
because
long shot.
No, not long shot.
It's a long shot.
No, I play Connected Career, the franchise mode. I play in 2 32-man leagues with
big boy over here. Woo.
No, been playing in these leagues for 2 years now, and going to the playoffs for my first time ever.
Congrats, man.
Like, thank you. These guys who've been playing Madden way longer than I have and way better than I am, like, you know how when we played NCAA, we were always on the D line. Like, we always attacked.
Yeah.
These guys use their linebackers and safeties. I'm like, what devil magic is this? And like my friend was like, hey, just go play online, kind of build up your linebacking skills. And I'm doing it, and I'm just like, I'll run this way, they'll throw it that way. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to be because I'm really good on the D line. I was like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm good at. Because my guys always have a crap ton of sacks at the end of the year. But like, I mean, these guys just
tearing it up.
Yeah, and I average like 30 picks a season because they do that. It's called use or lurk, and I hate that word. I hate those two words so much because it's the linebackers, like they'll play up, and then they'll back up and they'll pick me off for a pick six. I'm just like, you know what? You know what you can do? Yeah.
So, Allie, tell me about Assassin's Creed. Get close to that mic so they can hear you.
That's the one I've been playing.
Like, let's just turn off the mic.
That used to be me.
I might have to treat her like I treated you. Get close to that mic, boy.
I'll be talking all of a sudden.
Honestly, like it's my game of the year. Like I how I knew it was game of the year. I mean, I knew I was gonna pick it anyway just because I love Assassin's Creed. But I opened up the menu and I saw 3 new game slots, and I was like, they brought back the multi-saves.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay,
Yeah,
I got you now.
Yeah, in the last 2 games they had it. You can only have like one save per profile on the PlayStation, or at least on PlayStation. So they brought back multi-saves, and I was really happy about that. And now they have it so you can. There's like 3 different difficulty modes. There's easy, normal, hard.
Yeah.
I played on normal just because.
Yeah, same here.
Easy. That's Zach's go-to.
No, that's you.
I always played normal.
I'm gonna go back and play it on hard eventually, but I want to like do like a complete.
Yeah,
Well,
you always 100% these
like.
things.
I went normal because I knew there was a lot of different mechanics, and I didn't want to just go out there and get my butt forever demolished.
Okay, so what do y'all think about the combat system?
I love it. It took some time getting used to, but now that like I'm in it or whatever, everything, like I adore it. I think it's really great.
It is a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
But pressing X.
Curb or curve?
Curve.
It's curve. It's curve.
Yeah.
What?
Steep learning curve. It's like, oh god.
Break your ankle. But once you get it, pressing X to slide and the shield and everything like that. Even with your two-handed weapons, like you're a heavy attack, you come out with a block first, and then you. So there's different ways that you can. One thing that I had the most issue with was locking on to the right person. Like this guy is about to.
I rarely lock on to anyone.
I need to. Yeah.
I do it mostly for the camera.
Yeah. I just don't do it.
Like I had this guy, he was getting ready to just lay into me, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lock on and then block him, and then I locked on and I go. And he goes, I'm like, okay, I gotcha.
I love it.
So.
With me, like, I'm playing so many games that like have that like sword combat. Like I'm having to like change from like different ones. Like I have Hellblade, I've got Shadow of War, I've got this one. So it's just like trying to like get used to it. This one is definitely closer to Hellblade in that style where you need to dodge, you need to block and all of that, yes, or you will get wrecked, which is totally different. And I'm glad that they put a little bit more depth in the combat system, because like 2 hours in, you're already killing everybody. Like if you died in the other one, it's because there was like 4 heavies around you and they all like started killing you at the same time.
And what I do like about this one is that once I found this skill in the skill tree where you can regenerate health while still in battle,
I got that. That was my first skill.
I was like,
that was my first skill.
But like seeing when you block, like you can take the arrow, put it in your quiver. Like there's just so many cool things with the skill tree that you can do that you didn't have in the previous games. So Ubisoft's done a great job with Assassin's Creed so far that I've seen. Definitely in my contention for Game of the Year as well. I've
got to play more before I put it in mine.
But starting off
I love the world that we're in. Like the side quests are much more robust. The weather system as well. Like when a sandstorm comes in, have you ever experienced a sandstorm yet?
No.
Like it's intense, and like the whole landscape just changes because of the sandstorm, and which I really love that. Another thing is like the skill tree, like being broke up. That is so cool.
All the different abilities you can get now are really, really interesting. Like there's these slow-mo archery ones. I just
like you shoot one and it gives you like so many seconds of slow-mo.
No, it's like slowed down.
Predator. No, it's slow-mo. It's kind of like in Breath of the Wild where like you jump off and like if you jump off and draw your bow, it gives you some slow-mo time.
Yeah,
it's really, really cool.
That's sexy.
And I just got the hunter ability where you can put an animal to sleep and tame them for a little bit. I just got that one. I've only used it once, and I tested it out on a goat.
Okay.
Like,
Because I was just like, I wanted to see like how it worked in the game. So I was like, there's a goat right here. Let me test it.
Well, there was just like one small like side quest where like I had to bring like a dead body or something somewhere, and like my camel came and I put it on the back of my camel,
That is the best
and
part of this game.
I'm just like, they have thought about more than just like the base game. Like they thought about things, because I remember like when you had to like carry things like forever, you just put it on the back of your camel and you just ride.
You're just like, all right, this is 3 hours in.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I wanted to cry.
I did that before I went to church. I did that mission, and like, cause I'm like, I was like, there's gonna be times when I have to have a second person riding on my camel, and then once I got to the camel, it was like, throw that thing up there. I was like, what?
Yeah.
You just hear like angelic choirs.
It just, a lot of things are working on the right level.
Yes.
With them taking that year off, I think has really, really helped them make a well-rounded game that's super fun, and I think it's going to be the best Assassin's Creed yet.
Oh no, in my opinion, it's definitely like the best.
You beat it.
I just beat it. Not completionist style, but I got through the main story.
Yeah.
It was very emotional, and
Now,
I
after
could say
story,
anything.
you can still continue into
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, there's. In fact, like by the time I finished the story, I'd only been to half of the map.
Wow.
Yeah, like
That's crazy.
yeah, it's maybe a little over half of the map, but
Have you got to the twist yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
with like the flashback thing.
Yeah.
I
Like,
it's
I
one of
was-
those, like, you
I
know
was
something bad
extremely
happened.
shocked. Like, I was live streaming that.
I came in like right after that.
Yeah.
Twisty.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of those like the flash. I'm talking very vague here. I'm not going to give any story
Yeah.
away. It's like the flashback starts and they introduce this character and you're like, because you know something bad has happened. You're like, okay, well clearly something bad happens to this character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I think you said it was like seeing how it happened.
Yeah.
I remember people aren't gonna be able to see me, but like I sat there like this, like for like 5 minutes. Thank you for like 5 minutes
welcome.
straight. Just and like I had to like stop myself. I was like, oh, I've been sitting like this for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Just overall, like, I'm enjoying that the story missions aren't just the same thing over and over and over again.
They're very unique.
The world looks great, of course. You know, the graphics are going to look good. I'm just like, the environment feels real, and
Absolutely. I can go a little more into that. In fact, there's certain parts I only just now got to since I'm able to actually like, explore the world more. I mean, you're able to do it from the
yeah,
get-go.
yeah,
And yeah, open world was the perfect choice for them to do for this game. Like Assassin's Creed needed open world.
Yeah.
But whenever you're actually going through the desert, if you ride through it long enough, you actually start seeing mirages, and they're really trippy and they're really cool. Like there was one where it was like there's like a lady like waving to me, and then all of a sudden on the back of my camel there was this guy like made of sand like talking to me. It was so weird.
That's hilarious.
But before I get into more like good points, I do have some grievances.
Okay.
First of all, my game I don't think there's ever been a time where I sat down and my game has not crashed.
I haven't had any
had
crashes
My
issues
at
game
all.
has crashed on me at least.
And I haven't.
You've been playing since the day it came out, though.
Yes.
And I'm playing it on Xbox, and I haven't had any crashes.
Hopefully, it's just my PlayStation being dumb because, like,
I haven't had any problems.
it hasn't been to the point where it's been like in the middle of an important mission. It's usually like, oh, I just got on my it's not game breaking stuff. It's just annoying.
I had like the very first, like when you're going to Siwa or whatever.
Siwa.
Yeah. Like the guy's camel that's like bringing you there, like went totally insane. Like he was like running into a house, like running through the middle of the village. Like it's all on live stream too. It's like, "Rrr," like he's like, the camel's like trying to like molest the house.
Another issue I've had, because I'd had a few glitches like throughout the game, but they were usually like funny stuff, and again, not game breaking. So
Yeah.
I was like, glitches are bound to happen in the game. But as I got further in the game, like more towards the end, the glitches were getting worse.
Really?
And more towards game breaking. There was one part. There was one of the final bosses. I was fighting him, and I got him down to like 1 point of health, and I can't remember. It wasn't the glitch that got me killed, but there was a part like it got me down really low to health. Like it wasn't letting me like move or dodge or something. I can't quite remember. My mom was there; she saw it. I'm like,
Was it because I'm bad? My mom's fault.
no, but then like I started getting overconfident, and then he killed me after that. But then I went back and fought him again, and then before I got him down, like he wasn't down nearly as low as he was the first time I fought him, and then it triggered a cutscene. So like the cutscene that should have been triggered the first time wasn't triggered for some reason. So I don't know, maybe it killed me. It was like, oh wait, the game's broken, die.
Now, I'm not wanting to one up your Assassin's Creed glitch, but I'm going to.
Okay, no,
now,
sure.
Assassin's Creed 1. You know where I'm going with. Yeah, you've heard this story multiple times.
Wait, is this like the endless white sea?
No,
oh.
no. This is something I've talked to a lot of people about this, and they've never had this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was almost going to complete this game. Like I was super close to completing everything that you can do with it. I get to the last part where you're about to fight the boss, and all of a sudden I'm surrounded by just random people, and standing in front of me is myself. And every time I would attack, he would attack the exact same way. And whenever I would be able to parry myself and stab myself, it took my life away. and I was never able to beat the game because I even was like, you know what? I was like, I'm not going to get pissed off. I was like, I'm just going to restart the game. I restarted it. Got all the way back. I didn't complete as much as I did the first time. I got back to where it was. Happened again. So I was like, you know what? I still don't know what happens at the end of the
Look it up on YouTube.
No, I refuse. It's
That-
principle.
That is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Microsoft's come a long way.
I was so pissed off.
And yeah, I've had some other glitches that have been frustrating. And then here's a glitch. If you guys encountered this, if you happen to be diving somewhere and like you get stuck in a wall, go to Sendu and come back and you'll be fine. I learned that the hard way.
Did you drown?
No, I did not, because I was freaking out. Like, how do I not drown? I don't want to drown because it won't let me move. And then I button mashed, went to Sendu, came back, and I was fine.
Mm.
So, pro tip for all you people out there.
So, do you think this is a game that people should play?
Absolutely.
100%.
And like, even if, because like they show, you know, the creation of the assassins and everything, which was, I was screaming at the television. I was like, oh my god, it's happening. But yes, like if you haven't played any of the other games, aside from the mains, like the modern day story stuff, it's a great place to start.
Yeah.
Like the modern day story stuff, you might be like, what? And then of course there's a couple of Isu or precursor ones that came before, whatever you want to call them. There's some stuff in that in the game, which was actually I can't remember if you got to it or not, but it's the first one you go to. You're inside one of the pyramids, and
I haven't been in a pyramid yet.
Actually, I don't know if can you go in one of the pyramids? Can you go in the pyramids?
Oh,
Because I know.
I've just got to Alexandria, so
Okay, because that might only be a deluxe edition thing. I might be wrong about that. I don't remember.
probably,
You know how they are.
Yeah.
Gotta get their money.
I think it might be deluxe edition. Anyway, you go inside the pyramids, and then there's these, you know, like the precursor temples, like it's all like the black smooth stone and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of like little room, or not little, big rooms like that.
Yeah.
And then there's like these messengers, and there's the first one you encounter. The boy starts talking, and they're like, "Don't listen to this guy." Like I didn't understand it at first, but I realized what's going on is that the voice is talking to Layla, not to Bayek. He's like, he's like, this guy cannot understand what we're saying. I'm talking to you right now. Like we're transcending time, and I'm talking to you. It's really cool. It's like all the rooms you go to, they're talking to Layla, not to Bayek.
That's cool.
And it was really
That's
cool.
cool.
But yeah, earlier you mentioned like, oh, the collectible stuff. There's not like that. The silica. In this game, there's a mission you can do. There's a hidden room in the Sphinx, and if you collect, you have, again back to the those like precursor rooms. If you want to talk to or listen to these voices, you have to use like 5 silica, and they're these little glowing stones you get in different tunes and stuff. And then, but to get the Isu armor, which is really really cool, looks very Destiny-esque. You have to get 50.
Oh, geez.
And I grinded for hours yesterday looking for it.
The grind is real.
It was, but I got it. The armor's super cool. It was worth it. But Yeah, so that's really the only like collectible like, nightmare in that game.
So, other than Assassin's Creed, I've been playing a ton of Super Mario Odyssey. I played a little bit by myself, and then me and Amy probably played about 4 hours. I won't say 4 hours. We're already through the Metro Kingdom, Donk City. Bad name, just bad name. But we have enough moons to get to the next part. I don't know how close we are to the end, but we've been playing a lot of it, and I play by myself, and like Cappy is really cool and all this stuff, but there's an option to play 2 players, and we spent hours playing yesterday, and it was so much fun just getting to sit down, play a game, and like Mario has always had this thing, and Nintendo's just really good about this, and Zelda's even the same way. Like there's throwbacks to things, but there's so much hidden in the world. Like there's so much to do than just the base game.
Yeah.
There's 999 moons to get in this game, and each one of them you're getting like 10 or 12 or whatever. Right now I've got 69 moons so far. I haven't turned in my other moons, but you know, by the end of the game, we got probably 100 moons or whatever. But there's 999 of them. But what's cool is like the 2-player, like Amy got to control Cappy, like she could like fly off my head and like fly right around like the map where we're at and everything, and like attack enemies and all of that while I'm jumping around attacking enemies. So it was like an actual co-op thing, like instead of like playing like Luigi or whatever, like you're playing like the Cap is like essential to the gameplay, like taking over like different enemies and all that, different enemy types having different abilities and everything. And each world felt so different and so unique. It was just an excellent experience. And each world, like, it's just to the simplest thing. Like, you can buy a sticker in one of these shops, and on your ship, they'll put these stickers of where you've been. It's like a bumper sticker almost for your ship.
That's so cute.
And you get, like, different outfits. Like, the first place is like a Day of the Dead type. You've seen that place.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So, like, we got a sombrero and a poncho from there to wear. And then the next place was, like, a forest. So we got, like, a safari outfit. The next place was, I can't remember where else, but, like, we got, like, an aviator's outfit. And, like, it's just, like, different things that make the game, like, each level feels different. And you've got to collect the coin. Each kingdom has their own coins. Like when I first saw this, I'm like, oh god, they've got microtransactions, because there's like the gold coins and then there's like this other coin, but each world or kingdom has their own coin where you use it to buy
purple coins.
Yeah, they're purple coins and they're different shapes, so each place, like, you've got to collect them all to get all the collectibles from that world. And it's like the outfits, there's like we went to one kingdom that was like a water kingdom, and it was like the Loch Ness monster with a top hat. And it's like a floaty, and then another one's like a palm tree, and like it's just got different things to do there. And then like it's just so in depth and it's just so good. It's so good. Like
sorry, I didn't
No, go ahead.
You mentioned like throwbacks or whatever. I was watching some gameplay of it this morning, and I noticed that there's these parts. It's kind of like which Zelda game is that? Link Between Worlds, where like you kind of like turn to like the painting version of the world. It's like that, but you become like the retro Mario.
Yes.
I thought that was really
cool. It's
too.
a good part the way they use that in there, because like the music changes when you die. It has like the old like sound when you die, and when you're back in the other world, it doesn't use that and everything. So
what is it? The ba-dum-bum.
The I can't remember. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like it has that in there, but it's just there's so much to do in the game, and we've only scratched the surface of it. And if you're looking for something on the Switch, like this is something you can do. And like they have so many different outfits. You can actually get the Nintendo 64 version of Mario and play as that version in the game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's something that's later on, but like there's so much to it. Yeah, like Ali's going to bring up this picture. This is on the first world or kingdom. I want to keep saying world, but like you're and like it's cool to get to like take over these different enemies like the bullet bills and everything, and then there's caterpillars that you get to take over, and like all of them have just different abilities. It is so good, and the game's already sold over 2 million copies, and there's a reason why, because the game is good. Like they put a ton into this, and if you're looking for something to play, definitely pick it up. I'm going to be putting up more impressions, like with some gameplay, or I might put that in here. I don't know, but there you go, guys. There's a very long episode, unless you got another game you want to talk about.
No, just one thing before we close. I forgot to mention it at the beginning. Before we went on the podcast today, we did find out about a very tragic event that happened today over in Texas. I cannot remember the city, but there was a shooting in a church. 20 people were killed. Don't know how many injured. But our thoughts and prayers go out to not only Texas, but the family and friends and that community. It's crazy because we just literally had the
shooting in Las Vegas,
and now this. So just before we signed off, I just felt like we should say.
My thoughts and prayers go out to the people that are affected by this. Where's it at, Allie?
The massacre was in Sutherland Springs, about 40 miles southeast of San Antonio, bringing the number of fatalities to 27.
Wow. And in a house of worship. It doesn't matter what you believe or what you worship or what you don't. Like, that should be a place where people are safe from anything. Yeah. So our thoughts and prayers go out to people that are affected, and yeah. So, everybody, hope you enjoyed this episode of the Nerd Cave Podcast. Episode 231. It's in the books. Been a long one, but all the gaming news. That's what you needed. Shot of gaming news in your arm.
It wasn't a shot. We had a full IV.
It was one of those horse pills. Like we had like one that's like this, and we're just like shoving it down people's throats. All right, everybody. This has been Zach
And Robbie.
Have a week.